Economic Indicators Leading, Coincidental, and Lagging by Dwayne Gray, January 13, 2025. Manufacturing PMI's economic indicator. Leading indicator tend to peak and trough, highest level and trough, lowest level before overall economy determining direction economy is going to take. Manufacturing PMIs. The S&P Global USA Manufacturing PMI is compiled by S&P Global for responses to questionnaires sent to purchasing managers in a panel of around 800 manufacturers. The headline figure is the Purchasing Manager Index PMIs, which is a weighted average of the following 5 indices: new orders 30%, output 25%, employment 20%, supplier delivery times 50%, stock and purchases 10%. For the PMI calculation, the supplier's delivery time index is inverted so that it moves in a comparable direction to the other indices. The Purchasing Manager Index PMIs is an index of the prevailing direction of economic trends in the manufacturing and service sectors. It consists of a diffusion index that summarizes whether market conditions are as viewed by purchasing managers are expanding, staying the same, or contraction. The index varies between 0 and 100, with a reading above 50 indicating an overall increase compared to the previous month, and below 50 an overall decrease. Reflects on clients. This is good to know as a broker, investor dealer broker, as it may dictate which direction economy orders are progressing, and association deliberating if individual stock equity is going bullish or bearish. Manufacturing PMIs. Manufacturing is the most important sector and accounts for about 78% of total production. The biggest segment with manufacturing are chemicals, 12% of total production, food, drink, and tobacco, 11%, machinery, 6%, fabricated metal products, 6%, computer electronic products, 6%, motor vehicles and parts, 6%, mining and quarrying account for 11% of production, and utilities account for the remaining 11%. Consists of raw materials of parts into finished goods through the use of tools, human labor, machinery, and chemical processing. Simplified make of goods and service to be sold. Simplified makes of goods and service to be sold to consumers upon completion. Anything under 50% in manufacturing PMI is in contraction, and anything above 50% in it is expansion. Contraction shrinking, expansion growing. Italy manufacturing industry is contracting, is in contraction territory and decreasing. France manufacturing industry is in contraction territory and decreasing. Euro manufacturing industry is the same as last month. Japan manufacturing industry is in contraction territory and increasing. UK Britain manufacturing industry is in contraction territory and decreasing. Germany manufacturing industry is in contraction territory and decreasing. US manufacturing industry is in contraction territory and decreasing. Canada manufacturing industry is in expansion territory and decreasing. China manufacturing industry is in expansion territory and decreasing. Summary. Most nations in this chart are contracting except for China and Canada, meaning that most of the economies into the countries are example world's biggest countries by GDP. There is common denominator of lagging growth, recession, etc. Experience a period of low growth. Some show positive signs within the contraction, but do not cross the expansion mark, which is a positive sign that things may turn around in these countries. Services PMIs, economic indicators. These are leading economic indicators. Leading indicators tend to peak, highest level, and trough, lowest level before overall economy, determining direction economy is going to take. Services PMIs. Flash service PMIs is an early estimate of a service purchasing manufacturing in its PMIs for a country, designed to provide an accurate advance indication of the final services of PMI data. Reflects on client. This is good to know as an investment dealer broker, as it may dictate which direction economic orders are progressing, and ascertain deliberating if the individual stock equity is going to go bullish or bearish. Services. Flash service PMI, they track variables such as output, new orders, employment, price and prices across key sectors. Service Purchasing Manager Index PMIs for a country is designed to provide an accurate advance indication of the final services PMI data. Data is based on a survey of more than 400 senior purchasing executives. The survey covers transports and communication, financial intermediaries, businesses and personal services, computing and IT, hotel and restaurants. They track variables such as output, new orders, employment, and prices across key sectors. Anything under 50 in service PMI is in contraction. Anything above 50 is in expansion. Contraction shrinking, expansion growing. Italian manufacturing industry is in contraction territory and decreasing. France manufacturing industry is in contraction territory and increasing. Eurozone manufacturing industry is in expansion territory and increasing. Japan manufacturing industry is in expansion territory and increasing. UK Britain manufacturing industry is in expansion territory and increasing. Germany manufacturing industry is in expansion territory and increasing. USA manufacturing industry is in expansion territory and increasing. China manufacturing industry is not applicable. Canada manufacturing industry is not applicable. China manufacturing industry is in expansion territory and increasing. Summary. So majority of major big countries in the world, except some countries in Europe, France and Italy, are stating growth in the service sector, meaning output and orders is going in a positive direction, increasing. Economic indicator. Leading indicators tend to peak, highest level, and trough, lowest level before overall economy, determining direction economy is going to take. Composite PMIs. Coincidental indicators flow in tandem with the economy, which is a composite PMI. A composite PMI is the weighted average of manufacturing and service sector PMIs for a given geography or economy, produced by S&P Global. Reflects. This is good to know as an investment dealer broker, as it dictates which direction economic orders are progressing, and ascertain deliberating if individual stock equity is going bullish or bearish. Composite PMIs is the weighted average of manufacturing and service sectors PMIs for a given geography or economy, produced by S&P Global. Weights are derived from artificial data relating to each sector contribution to GDP, value added. Anything under 50 in composite PMIs is in contraction, and above 50 is in expansion. Expansion shrinking is in expansion shrinking. Expansion shrinking, contraction, expansion growing, contraction shrinking. Italian composite industry decreasing and in contraction territory. France composite industry increasing and still in contraction territory. Eurozone contraction industry increasing and still in contraction territory. Japanese composite industry increasing and still in expansion territory. Britain, UK composite industry increasing, same as before. Germany composite industry increasing and still in contraction territory. USA composite industry increasing and still in expansion territory. Canada composite industry not applicable. China composite industry increasing and still in expansion territory. Summary. So between major developing countries in the G8 are in expansion alongside Japan, USA, and China. Other than that, no countries such as more notable in Eurozone, Germany, Italy, and France stay in contraction. In this composite sector, meaning that manufacturing and services seeing a downfall in Europe's major economies. They may signal close to an entry position in the stocks in Europe, and valuation of stocks has dipped due to soft landing and recession woes. Housing starts. Leading indicator tend to peak highest level and trough lowest level before overall economy, determining direction the economy is going to take. Housing starts. In Canada, a housing start is defined as the beginning of construction work on a building where a dwelling unit will be located. This can be described in two ways, usually the stage where the concrete has been poured for a whole of the footing around the structure, or an equivalent stage where the basement will not be part of the structure. Reflects on client. This is good to know as an investment dealer broker, as it may dictate which direction economic orders are progressing and ascertain deliberating if individual stock equity is going bullish or bearish. Housing starts. The U.S. Census Bureau publishes estimates of U.S. housing starts on the 12th business day of each month based on a survey of home builders partially funded by U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The new residential construction report also includes housing completions that as well as countries and building permits derived from separate surveys of building permit offices. Japan annual housing starts increased by 1.125k units housing starts month over month, February 2024 to January. U.S. annualized housing starts contracted month over month from February 2024 to January by about 23,000 units from 1.312 million. Summary. Growth was steady in the first and third largest countries in the world in regards to housing starts. Japan was showing sluggish results in housing, and U.S. was saying that the growth in their economy was growing moderately, which is good. So investing in U.S. real estate as it shows bullish prospects. Maybe a good sign for REITs and other mortgage stock equities, as the individual industry that makes materials and home building will have continued productivity, maybe in an increasing trend for the meantime. The recovery may be brewing growing steam mutual fund mortgage REITs. GDP, gross domestic product coincidental indicator, flow in tandem with economy. Gross domestic product, GDP, is the total market value of all final goods and services produced in the country over a given period. Economic growth is measured by the increase in GDP from one month to the next. Monthly and quarterly GDP reports are used to keep track of short-term activity within the markets, whereas annual reports are used to examine trends, change in productions, and fluctuations in standard of living. The gross domestic product (GDP) is equal to the total expenditures for all final goods and services produced within the country in a stipulated period of time. In general, when nations produce more goods and services, the standard of living improves. However, if the increase in GDP is simply the result of higher prices, then the cost of living increases, but the standard of living does not improve. Economists term this condition of rising prices as inflation. Reflects on clients. This is good to know as a investment dealer or broker, as it may dictate which direction economic orders are progressing, and ascertain deliberating if individual stock equity is going bullish or bearish, and how to structure client's portfolio. Gross domestic product (GDP) is the total monetary of market value of all finished goods and services produced in a specific border in a specific time period. The broad measure of overall domestic production, it functions as a comprehensive scorecard of a given country's economic health. Italy GDP, gross domestic product, year over year is contracting by a change in negative 0.2% current to 0.4% last year's reading. France GDP, gross domestic product, year over year expanding by a change in 0.3% current to 1.2% last year's reading. Eurozone GDP, gross domestic product year over year expanding by a change in 0.4% current to 0.9% last year's reading. Japanese GDP, gross domestic product year over year is contracting by a change in negative 1% current to 1.2% last year's reading. UK Britain GDP, gross domestic product year over year expanding by changing 0.2% current to 0.9% last year's reading. Germany GDP, gross domestic product year over year is contracting by a change in 0% current to 0.3% negative last year's reading. USA gross domestic product year over year is contracting by a change in negative 0.3% current to 2.7% last year's reading. Gross domestic product Canada year over year is contracting by a change in 1.2% negative current to 1% last year's reading. China GDP, gross domestic product year over year is contracting by change in negative 0.1% current to 4.7% last year's reading. Italy gross domestic product quarter over quarter is contracting by a change in negative 0.2% current to 0%. France GDP, gross domestic product quarter over quarter is expanding by a change in 0.2% to current to 0.4%. Eurozone gross domestic product quarter over quarter expanding by a change in 0.2% current to 0.4%. Japan gross domestic product GDP production quarter over quarter is contracting by a change in 0.2% negative current to 0.3%. UK Britain gross domestic product is quarter over quarter is contracting by a change in 0.4% negative current to 0%. Germany gross domestic product quarter over quarter is expanding by a change in 0.4% current to 0.1%. USA GDP gross domestic product quarter over quarter is expanding by 0.1% current to 3.1%. Canada GDP gross domestic product quarter over quarter is contracting by negative 0.2% current to 0.3%. China gross domestic product quarter over quarter expanding by 0.2%, a change of 0.2% current to 0.9%. Summary. GDP was rising by approximately 1% nearly every economy in the chart year over year last year. This year GDP was expanding by a positive number except for Germany year over year. Secondly, Canada, China, Italy, and UK are all in contraction quarter over quarter. Rest of economies are in positive GDP quarter over quarter four. Last quarter four, all countries in expansion in this list of countries last quarter. This relays the point that the majority of these countries' size of goods and services growing, stating that progress is staying in stock value stock value may be expanding and increased bullishness upwards. Buying opportunity for buy opportunity and holding opportunity mutual fund long-term reinvestment opportunity dividends and capital gains. Stock capital appreciation from pullbacks to long-term 5 to 10 year with appreciation of about 90% TSS composite with all around stock exchanges probably 25% other indices. 19% TSS composite with all around stock exchange probably 25% other indices. As this is growing strength, suggesting that companies is growing robust pace and predicted future expansion. Economic indicators, coincidental indicators, flow in tandem with the economy. Retail sales. Retail sales are economic metric that tracks consumer demand for finished goods. The effects on clients. This is good to know as an investment dealer broker, as it may dictate which direction economic orders are progressing, and ascertain deliberating if individual stock in equities is going bullish or bearish. This figure is very important data set as it is a key monthly market moving event. Retail sales are reported each month by the U.S. Census Bureau and indicate the direction of the economy. It acts as a key economic barometer as whether inflationary pressures exist. Retail sales are measured by durables and non-durables goods produced over a defined period of time. Sales for the report are derived from 13 types of retailers from food, service, and retail stores. Italy retail sales year over year is expanding by 1.9% current to 2.6%. France retail sales year over year is contracting by negative 0.44% current to 0.1% negative. Eurozone retail sales year over year is contracting by 1.1 negative current to 1.9%. Japan retail sales year over year is expanding by 1.5% current to 2.8. Japan retail sales year over year is expanding by 1.5% current to 2.8%. UK retail sales year over year is contracting by negative 1.5% current to 0.5%. Germany retail sales year over year is contracting by negative 3.2% current to 1%. USA retail sales year over year is expanding by 0.9% current to 3.8%. Canada retail sales year over year is expanding by 0.7% current to 1.5%. China retail sales year over year is contracting by 1.8% current negative to 3%. Italy retail sales month over month is contracting by 1.8% negative current by negative 0.5% month over month. France retail sales month over month is the same by 0% current by negative 0.1% month over month. Eurozone retail sales month over month is contracting by negative 1% current by negative 0.5% month over month. Japan retail sales month over month is expanding by 2% current by 1.8% month over month. UK Britain retail sales month over month is contracting by 0.5% negative current by 0.2% month over month. Germany retail sales month over month is contracting by negative 3.1% current by 1.5% month over month. USA retail sales month over month is expanding by 0.2% current by 0.7% month over month. Canada retail sales month over month is contracting by 0.6% current negative by 0% month over month. China retail sales month over month is expanding by 0.04% current by 0.16% month over month. Summary: year over year from last year, France was rising in negative numbers, but everyone but Italy, Japan, USA, Canada final reading was positive. The rest of the overall had contracted, but final reading overall was positive for most of the countries in the retail sales readings. France month to month were contracting monthly, but Italy, Eurozone, and Germany and China ended up in negative numbers over this period. Majority of countries in Europe and North America and Asia are prospering, and for consumers and investors, as sectors seems to be in a sign of growth in economies. Continued growth opportunities as stock business cycle expansion may be seen a breaking through resistance levels and will probably chart new highs for investors. Industrial production, coincidental indicators, flow in tandem with economy. Industrial production. In the United States, industrial production measures the output of business integrated in industrial sector of the economy. Reflects on clients. This is a good to know as an investment data broker, as it may dictate which direction economy orders are progressing and ascertain deliberating if individual stock and equity is going bullish or bearish. Industrial production. Manufacturing is the most important sector and accounts for 78% of total production. The biggest segments with manufacturing are chemicals, 12% of total production, food and drink and tobacco, 11%, machinery, 6%, fabricated metal products, 6%, computer and electronic products, 6%, motor vehicles and parts, 6%, mining and quarrying account for 11% of production, and utilities account for the remaining 11%. Italy industrial production year over year is contracting by 0.3% current to 3 is contracting by negative 0.3% currently to negative 3.6% negative. France industrial production year over year is contracting by negative 0.3% currently to negative 0.62% negative. Eurozone industrial production year over year is contracting by negative 1% currently to negative 1.2%. Japan industrial production is expanding by negative 4.2% currently to negative 2.8%. Pardon me, I mean Japan industrial production is contracting by negative 4.2% currently to negative 2.8%. UK Britain industrial production year over year is contracting by negative 1.1% currently to negative 0.7%. Germany industrial production year over year is contracting by negative 4.3% currently to negative 4.5%. My mistake. Germany industrial production is contracting by negative 0.2% currently to negative 0.45%. USA industrial production year over year is contracting by 0.4% currently to negative 0.9%. China industrial production is expanding by 0.1% currently to 5.4%. Industrial production month over month is contracting. Italy industrial production month over month is contracting by negative 0.3% currently to 0% month over month. France industrial production month over month is contracting by 0.7% to 0.1% month over month. Eurozone industrial production month over month is contracting by negative 1.5% currently to 0% month over month. Japan industrial production month over month is contracting by negative 5.1% current to negative 2.3% month over month. UK Britain industrial production month over month is contracting by negative 0.1% current to negative 0.6% month over month. Germany industrial production month over month is contracting by negative 1% current to negative 1% month over month. USA industrial production month over month is contracting by 0.3% current to negative 0.1% month over month. Canada industrial production month over month is neutral at 0.1% current to 0.1% month over month. China industrial production month over month is expanding by 0.05% current to 0.46% month over month. Summary: in every country in this chart is declining except for Japan and China year over year, with Italy, Eurozone, Germany, UK, France, etc. Showing end figures negative, meaning those countries' industrial production contracting, not growing. Month over month, every country except for Japan, China, and Canada showed expansion over that period. I had an end figure month to month of all these countries contracting: France, Italy, Eurozone, Germany, USG, Jersey, etc. Meaning industrial production, my mistake, declining, meaning industrial production is declining. So the majority of the stocks equities that monopolize these sorts of industries, which is vast in the economies of these countries, is showing decline. Maybe it's the industrial production is wailing. Maybe that industrial production is on those products they produce to some degree have lost traction, but most of these economies are in the expansion and stocks are bullish, and I guess industrial production isn't following suit. Inflation, lagging indicator, trail economy action in both cases confirming a trend cycle. Inflation is a sustained trend of rising prices of goods and services across the economy over a period. In contrast, deflation is a general decrease in prices across the economy. Inflation typically a broad measure that such as the overall increase in prices or increase of cost of living in a country. Two, prices increase and consumers have to pay more for goods and services in the current year than they did in the previous year. Thus, the nation experienced inflation. The inflation rate is the percentage of change of the average level of prices over a given period. The Consumer Price Index is a widely used measure of inflation. The Consumer Price Index monitors how the average basket of goods and services purchased by a typical Canadian household changes month over month or year over year. Reflects on clients. This is a good to know as a broker, investor, dealer, or broker, as it may dictate which direction economy orders is progressing and assertion deliberating if individual stock equity is going bullish or bearish. Inflation. Italy inflation year over year is expanding by 0.4% current to 1.3% last year's reading. France inflation year over year is expanding by 0.1% current to 1.3% from last year's reading. Eurozone inflation year over year is expanding by 0.2% current to 2.2% from last year's reading. Japan inflation year over year is expanding by 0.6% current to 2.9% last year's reading. UK Britain inflation year over year is expanding by 0.3% current to 2.6% from last year's reading. Germany inflation year over year is expanding by 0.2% current from 2.2% from last year's reading. UK inflation year over year is expanding by 0.1% current to 2.7% from last year's reading. China inflation year over year is contracting by negative 0.1% current from 1.9% from last year's reading. China inflation year over year is expanding by 0.1% current from 0.2% from last year's reading. Italy inflation month per month is contracting by 0.1% current to negative 0.1% month per month. France inflation month over month is contracting by 0.4% current to 0.1% month over month. Eurozone inflation month over month is expanding by 0.6% current to 0.3% month over month. Japan inflation month over month expanding by 0.2% current to 0.6% month over month. UK Britain inflation month over month is contracting by 0.5% current to 0.1% month over month. Germany inflation month over month is contracting by 0.6% current to 0.2% month over month. US inflation month over month is expanding by 0.1% current to 0.3% month over month. Canada inflation month over month is contracting by 0.4% current to 0.0% month over month. China inflation month over month is contracting by 0.3% current to 0.6% month over month. Summary. The majority of countries in this chart is expressing inflation year over year, meaning consumers had to pay more for goods and services in the current year than they did in the previous year. Next, month over month, only Japan, UK, Britain, USA, Canada had inflation, with the rest of the countries experiencing deflation. Non-productive economies staying, economies growth is slowing. Economic indicators. Lagging indicators trail economy action in both cases confirming a trend cycle. Labor cost. The measure of the cost of labor input required required to produce 1 unit of output and equals labor compensation in current dollars divided by the real output. It is often calculated as a ratio of labor compensation per hour worked and labor productivity. Reflects on clients. This is good to know as an investment dealer broker, as it may dictate what direction economic orders are progressing and assertion deliberating if individual stock equity is going bullish or bearish. Italy labor cost is expanding from 107 current to 108.1 month over month reading December except France labor cost is expanding by 112.5 current to 112.8 month-over-month reading December, etc. Eurozone labor cost is expanding by 119.4 current to 112.1 month-over-month reading December, etc. UK Britain labor cost is expanding from 110.2 current to 110.5 month-over-month reading December, etc. Germany labor cost is contracting by contracting from 116.05 current to 116.91 month-over-month reading December, etc. U.S. labor cost is expanding by 121.397 current to 121.983 reading month-over-month reading December, etc. Canada labor cost is expanding by 131.187 current to 133 month-over-month reading December, etc. Summary: in every country in this chart, labor cost is increasing except Canada and China at a null increase. So employees are receiving more per hours worked. Wages seems to be increasing. This is a good sign for persons working and persons working already. Since deflation is also happening in major economies of the world, the employee has a purchasing power and supply is more cheaper, motivating people to spend more. Consumer sentiment, which is good for sellers of products. Economic indicators. Lagging indicators trail economic actions in both cases, confirming a trend cycle. Unemployment rate. The unemployment rate measures the number of people actively looking for a job as a percentage of the labor force. Reflects on client. This is good to know as an investment dealer broker, as it may dictate which direction economic orders are progressing and ascertain deliberating if individual stock equity is going bullish or bearish. Unemployment rate. Number of unemployed persons is expressed as a percentage of the labor force. The unemployment rate is a particular group, for example, age, sex, marital status. Is the number of unemployed in that group expressed as a percentage of the labor force for that group. Italy unemployment quarter-over-quarter is contracting by negative 0.2% current to 5.8% month-over-month. France unemployment quarter-over-quarter is expanding by 0.1% current to 7.4% month-over-month. Eurozone unemployment is quarter-over-quarter is null by 0% current to 6.2% month-over-month. Japan unemployment quarter-over-quarter is null by 0% current to 2.5% month-over-month. UK Britain unemployment quarter-over-quarter is null by 0% current to 4.3% month-over-month. Germany unemployment quarter-by-quarter is null by 0% current, 6.1% month-over-month. USA unemployment quarter-over-quarter is expanding by 0% current to 4.2% month-over-month. Canada unemployment quarter-over-quarter is expanding by 0.3% current to 6.8% month-over-month. China unemployment quarter-over-quarter is null by 0% current to 5% month-over-month. Summary: Italy is the only country experiencing a contraction in unemployment. UK, Britain, Germany, Japan, and the whole Eurozone has experienced no movement in unemployment. The rest of the countries experience an increase in unemployment. Let's indicate that the continuation of people being hired in these countries, in these economies. Only country of Italy is losing employees. The rest of the countries have relatively high unemployment and is indicating a trough and recovery where will come next. But some countries are currently already in expansion. Good opportunity to buy low, sell high, and sell high. If that event hasn't passed already, and continued buying as a big expansion instituted by governments to spur economy and introduce new wealth and need for employees. Current account, international finance and trade. Reflects on clients. This is good to know as an investment dealer broker, as it may dictate which direction economic orders are progressing, and ascertain deliberating if individual stock equity is going bullish or bearish. Current account. The account records the import of and export of goods and services between Canadians and foreigners, as well as net transfers such as foreign aid. The current account, sometimes called the trade account in the financial press. Accounts is encumbered in the balance of payments alongside capital and financial accounts, included economic transactions with the rest of the world and import-export between home countries. Italy current account month-over-month is expanding by 2.8812 billion current to 5.628 billion euros year-over-year. France current account month-over-month is contracting by a negative 0.2 billion current to 1.7 billion euros month-over-month. Eurozone current account month-over-month is expanding by 32 billion euros month-over-month. Japan current account month-over-month is expanding by 739 billion current to 2.465 Japanese trillion yen year-over-year. UK Britain current account month-over-month is contracting by 6 billion current to negative 18 pounds billion quarter-over-quarter. Germany current account month-over-month is expanding by 24.1 euro billion current month. US current account month-to-month is contracting by negative 310.9 US billion current. Canada current account month-to-month is contracting by negative 33.2 CAD billion current month-over-month. China current account month-over-month is expanding by 93.1 current account 1.47 billion month-over-month. Most countries are showing continued improvement in the current account, suggesting that countries is continuing to show growth in business transactions, stating that the majority of countries in this chart are exporting and importing more than previous. France is sputtering in generally alongside USA and Germany, stating that these countries are spending more, paying out. Think of the current account as what we spend on things, and capital and finance account as what we do to finance these spendings. During a given year, if Canada buys more goods and services from abroad than it sells, it will run a current account deficit for the year. It will need to sell more assets to finance spending, and which means running a capital and financial account surplus. Alternatively, it will go into debt. Balance of payments. International finance and trade. Reflects on clients. This is good to know as an investment dealer broker as myself, as it may dictate which direction economic orders are progressing and expectation deliberating if individual stock equity is going bullish or bearish. Balance of payment. This balance of payments is a detailed statement of the country's economic transaction with the rest of the world over a given period, typically a quarter or a year. The balance of payments is two main components: the current account and the capital and financial account. Italy balance of payment year over year is contracting by negative 2.37 billion current to 1.413 billion euros last year reading. France balance of payment year over year is contracting by negative 15.35 billion to negative 19.478 billion euros last year's reading. Eurozone balance of payment is expanding by 51.639 billion current to 22. Eurozone balance of payment is year over year is contracting by negative 51.639 billion euros to 22.953 billion euros last year reading. European Britain balance of payment year over year is expanding by negative 2.653 current to million pounds. Pardon me. UK Britain balance of payment year over year is expanding by negative 2.653 billion pounds to 21.77 21.177 million pounds. God, wow. UK burden balance of payment is expanding by negative 2.653 million pounds to 21.177 million pounds last year's reading. There you go. The countries on this chart are stating that all these countries in questions are contraction. From last year's reading, the deficit numbers are in the low millions for all current accounts and questions. Current account is part of the balance of payment. Balance of payment tracks all money coming in and out of the country. Think of the current account as what we would spend on things, and the capital and financial account is what we're using to finance the spending. During a year, if Canada buys more goods and services abroad than it sells, it will run a current account deficit for the year. If it will need to sell more assets and finance by spending, which means running a capital and financial account surplus. Alternatively, it will go into debt.